Chris Evans Breakfast Show with
It's
Sky.
Good evening, everybody. That's the problem when you're watching YouTube and it's a live performance, and that's what happens. So yeah, I got a plug to Chris Evans. Well done. I'm sure he'll do the same for me one day. Hello, everybody. As you can see, I have a mess of a tank in front of me. And Judge, you were first today. Well done. Congratulations. And Alex, you were sent by a man with a strange accent. Yeah. If any of you were in with what's his name? Oh, it will come to me in a minute. Artist Empire, just doing his stream there with Pretzel Painting Studios. It's gone. Oh, I think we're gonna have to finish up in a minute because we've got to let what do you call it? I'm like, what? We've been streaming together for like forever. It feels like, and I played on it a little bit. Bless him. So yeah, Artist Empire. Check out his channel. His paint overs are awesome, and there are some victims here that have suffered at the hands of his talent. But yes, how is everybody anyway? Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all being here. Pardon me. Sorry, I have been drinking lots already. I have snacks here, but obviously I'm wearing gloves because we're dealing with this bad boy. So I'd done this a couple of hours ago, and it's been basically waiting eagerly to start stripping all this black gunk, well, blacky browny gunk. So when you do this oil weathering, for those that haven't done this before, you use a floor polish called Clear. Whether or not it's the same as Pledge, but it was called Clear. You put that on with an airbrush as a varnish, basically, and then you use white spirit. If you can get like a smellless one, it's always nice. And then using oil paints, so I use burnt umber mixed with Payne's black and cobalt blue, mixed it all together. You have to be very careful with Payne's black because like a smidge and it's this, literally. But yeah, so you plonk it all on, thick as you like, or as thin as you like, or in between, and then you let it sort of do its business. So after a couple of hours, you get some white cloth, and then you start to rub it off, basically. This is going to be one of those ones. Well, mid-afternoon for me, but it's cloudy, so it might as well be. I was today years old when I discovered that the lion straight up had spikes sticking out of his elbow guards. That's the thing. You don't think of these things. It's one of those things that just happens and you just discover, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's all fun. So as you can see from that first bit, that just comes off nice and easily, sort of leaving it in the crevices a little bit, but it just smooths off nicely and gives that sort of, changes the hue of the colour. So whenever you're doing oil painting, oil weathering, if you feel that your model is a little bit on the bright side, know that once you start applying oils, that's going to change. So it's going to look a lot sort of darker in comparison. So, but how is everybody anyway? You're all having a good week so far? Personally, I've been off for a couple of days because of school holidays and looking after my kids. Haven't done much hobby, as is the way when it's school holidays, because I'm at the kids' place, and I can't really take all my stuff to hobby over there. Now, it's always good to alternate the cloth, so you're getting a cleaner bit on sections. Clean oil is the most satisfying thing to do. It is quite relaxing, to be fair. That, and I'd say stippling is actually quite nice as well. Because I always got a sense of satisfaction whilst doing my Solaria models. It was quite pleasant. And Engine Phil is here as well. Hello. He's a two, like Alex, he's a two-show party monster. Alex was in with Artist Empire, and as he said, he was sent here by a strange talking man. But yeah, so it's just what we normally do here, Alex, is just a straightforward hobby hangout. We converse in the chat with everybody. I have to say that we do have a wonderful I'm trying to think of the right word, really. Collection, group, cadre of hobbyists here. And I've learned stuff from the people in this chat, shared our different ways of doing our own hobby, and it all goes to help improve our sort of skill sets. That's what I found. Like stuff I've learned from Phil, I've learned from Rob, Judge as well, has chipped in on the odd occasion with little tricks and tips and stuff. Mouse, when she pops in. Yeah, so it is a coming together of hobbyists, and we just, do our hobby whilst chatting and, see what happens. A bunch of lunatics on the neighbour. Yeah, there is that as well, yeah. This stream was responsible for a lot of Titan purchases at Warhammer Tottenham Court Road back in March. Bloody hell. March. It only seems like yesterday. You do get sometimes a little bit of fibrousness in when doing this. But yeah, I've like when doing the decals in particular, obviously you gloss varnish first, apply decals with your Sol and Set micro variety stuff. And then I varnish over them again before doing the clear or pledge floor polish through the airbrush, just to safeguard that they are properly protected from the white spirit. Stay too long and you'll be buying Titans. Yeah, I'll say I'm quite fortunate to have such awesome people join me. So welcome to the Hobby Hangout. Let's did actually also bring in cotton buds because I knew that was going to be awkward bits down the sides of these sections to get out. So, because with this particular one, I did mention it on the last stream, I'd accidentally glued this bit in to the top section, so I couldn't actually take this top section off like I can with the other one, so I can just swap out the weapons. And so I thought, bugger it, I'll just leave this as a dedicated Kratos battle cannon dude. Also, this can get down the turret as well. So that is looking a lot nicer. Already. Pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to do that with the old cotton buds. Well, you've come to the right place. If you really want a Reaver, we will encourage you. And you will have that Reaver. Because Reavers are awesome. You know, loads of people go for the Warlords, you know, but Reavers is where it's at. Yeah. And plus the only Titan so far without war in the title. That makes them extra special. So I say, anyway. We do love our Titans. We do. Putting the final touches on your Alpha Legion Destroyer squad. Excellent. Did you sort out some decals for them in the end? Because I know you was looking for some, weren't you, Rob? Oh, that boy's a slave driver. Always making you work, he is. Oh, Rob Seat's excellent. That's good, another good lad. Let's look at that. He even decorated the envelope with one of his signature crow drawings. boy's obsessed. So obviously before all this oil washing business, I'd already done the sort of chipping stage on the tank. And I think with the oil washing, it just sort of helps sort of tie it all together quite nicely. So yeah, you go over the entire model, tracks and all, which gives the metals in particular gives a really nice finish to it. Whew. Make sure I'm not wiping oil paint over my beard. Yeah, no, you brush it on with the oil paints. You basically make a huge, I say huge, mix it all in. So you put a dollop of the burnt umber oil, Newton and Windsor paints, or Windsor and Newton, I can't remember, oil paints. So a squidge of the burnt umber, bit of the cobalt, and a little bit of the Payne's Black or Mars Black. It's just that I had Payne's Black available, and you mix it in with white spirit. So that's why you have to make sure that you've covered your vehicle, your target, with not only varnish but obviously this the floor polish, clear KLEAR floor polish, which is similar to Pledge, but I don't know if they're both the same. Phil, do you still use clear, or have you found something alternative you do in your ones? But as Engine Phil says there, you brush it on. You basically just like splish, 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 splish. So your old thick brush, just splish it all on, thick as you like, and then you just got to let it sort of dry for a couple of hours, or you can speed it up with an airbrush, with a hairdryer to help it along, because obviously as the white spirit sort of dries out, it just leaves the sort of oil there, and then you attack it like this with some clean cloth, was clean cloth, white cloth, or cotton buds. Like with my Titans, I always use cotton buds. Like my small Titans anyway, not big ones. Small ones I always use cotton buds with to get over all the bits and pieces. I'll probably use a few cotton buds in here just to get into the little tighter nooks and crannies. But yeah, just as I say, like look on the metal there on the tracks. Gives a really nice sort of look to it. The Mauler, yo, 28mm tracks and not 8mm eggs. The world must have stopped and started spinning the wrong way. Mauler, is that Mauler? Mauler that I know, Mauler. Who lives down the road, Mauler? Just making sure of my Maulers. Hello, Ivy's in town. Yeah, just getting some mess off of this tonk. To be fair, with airbrushing, Alex, I literally just use it for base painting. Hey, finally made it, dude! Welcome. So do you know when I asked you about how to do hosting and that on Discord, I still haven't. I've been thinking about it recently and going, I really must do that thing that he told me to do. So I will be doing that because I know I want to get a few people to sort of join us on a live stream. Yeah, hobby chats and stuff. But welcome. How are you anyway? Have you started with your Titans yet? With the building and the painting and the whole Fedurkin. Are you doing your Rhino, Ivy? You were very determined you was going to get that done. I hope that you are. I can only assume that turret ring is for an AT Warhound or something to use as a mobile dias. No. Wrong! It's for that bad boy. The tonk with the chonk. So that's sort of before with all the crap over it. You can see all the crap, and obviously I've touched it with that as well. So it's going to look as messy and mucky as hell. And then you go at it with your cloths. Yeah, we sometimes have Dave in here as well, Mauler. Although he's been away for a while. I know he's been busy with everything in real life and whatever, but he does sort of turn up. He's been back recently. How funny, the Warhound man has a Kratos Gunship cover. Yeah. Grass. I'll be honest with you, Ivy. Yeah, Gribbly Dave. Yeah. I didn't fancy getting my hands dirty today. Like the last one, I was just, as I normally would do, just au naturel, gloves off or anything. But I don't know why. I just thought, no, I'm going to be professional. I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to go with gloves and be like a superstar. Funnily enough, talking about Superstar, something my boss actually told me on Monday morning. One of our fitters that worked for us, he has a guy who works with him to help him out and all that. It's called Roy. Really, really nice guy he is. Honestly, such a nice guy. And a few years ago, he had a bit of, unfortunately, his wife passed from cancer. And he's been looking after his 3 kids and all that sort of thing. He's done an impeccable job with that, and he's like, getting out, earn some more money now, sort of thing, because the kids are getting older, they want stuff and that. But what my boss found out was watching something on Channel 5 about this sort of like holiday, the Brits on abroad sort of thing. And fucking Roy was on it. So it was actually, my boss doesn't watch TV, and he was watching it, and it's fucking all about Roy. We're sitting there at work Monday watching this fucking TV program of Roy going away playing beer pong. It was just brilliant, And when he came in, we were sort of mentioning that, and he's like, "Oh no, leave it out, leave me alone." And I was singing the song Superstar at him. I don't know what it is that makes me feel like this. I don't know who you are, but you must be some kind of superstar. And he's just like, "Will you just fuck off?" Hey, Curly Joe. How are you, dude? Mid-oil wash, good timing. The Roy Show, yeah. See? I just put the stuff on. I don't care if it's hazardous. I just put it on to make it look good. And I'll take it off again. Now, normally, I probably wouldn't have bothered, but I did do the bottom as well. I had loads left over, so, you're not going to see it, but I did it. All over the tracks. All over everything. It just gives a really great sort of used and abused look to your tanks, and that's what you're after at the end of the day. So give that sort of air of realism that they've been lived in. I say Electric Eve, who's recently done not only one of these bad boys, but she's working on a Rhino as well, and a Spartan, as well. The weathering that she's done on them is just impeccable, and because it's obviously Death Guard that she's doing, she wants them to look, practical, that they've been used and all that, but not be too nergly as such. That aesthetic just doesn't really sort of think. So, when you're doing weathering, you've got to be careful not to overdo it and take away from the proper aesthetic that they have. You want to be a little bit beaten up and dirty tank, but sometimes you can go a little bit over the top, and it sort of detracts from the actual look of the vehicle. I missed the initial painting of this fetching Kratos. How did you get that metallic sheen on the teal turquoise? My HHDA is after metallic black. Well, Engine Fuel is the resident Dark Angels supporter. But with this was painted last Saturday, and literally I'd done it all on the stream because I use an airbrush with this particular method because I'm using contrast on them. So yeah, it was literally lead belcher at the start, and then I just went at it with Vallejo aluminium, which is a nice light bright colour. Sort of, it's similar to like Runefang steel. So I used that because it was sort of really mixed. So not really needed to sort of water it down as such. And then over the top of that, I went with Griffhound Charger. Quite, you know, a good coat of Griffhound Charger, and then it's a Kellyan green. And once that's done, you sponge over it with either Iron Breaker or Runefang steel, or a bit of both, to get, you know, the chipping and stuff. And that's pretty much it for these guys. If you like, some of the new contrast paints might actually be quite handy with metallics. Aluminium. Yeah, I went into Griffin Games because I didn't realise that Griffin Games was actually in Harlow. So I popped in there. I found them via, I'd heard of them before, but I found them, I was on a live stream, watching a Twitch stream, sorry, and they came in and somebody asked where they were based, and they said Harlow, and I went, what? How do I not know of you? And then found out where they were, and they were quite reasonably priced, I found. So I've been in there a couple of times. I actually went to GriffCon recently, which was their first attempt at an event. They had like a few influencers down there, like the Hobby Room. Kerry was there. Duncan Rhodes was there. Midwinter Minis, I think, was there. I think it was him with War Hatter, who's working there now, and my my good friend Crystal McDowell, and Studio 7 as well. He was down there amongst others. ANC Miniatures, another one I can mention. But yeah, it was, you know, it was a first attempt at an event, and they had some, you know, good people there. It was a bit rough, obviously. If they're going to do it again, hopefully they learn from previous ones and go and improve from there. Because it would be nice to have an event local to where I am. Really? Well, where I'm mostly when I'm at work. But yeah, they can only, you know, onwards and upwards, I'd say. But yeah, need a little bit more work, organisation, a few more bits and pieces and stuff. And maybe it could become a regular, you know, small key, because it was quite nice. There was a, you know, it wasn't overly busy, which in these times is quite nice, but it would be good with a few more things going on. Good metallic black, just lead belcher base and spray dry brush a lighter silver to contrast and wash with thin black template to contrast over the top. does the job nicely. You can always do another gentle dry brush up the metal on the edges. I have got a new black here, and I kind of run out of room to put stuff, so I need to move house. So let me get this straight. To maintain your top level Princess rep, you have to go to Harlow, just so you don't get busted locally into buying 30k instead of 80. Sounds like you need a proxy buyer. I get stuff, you know. It doesn't matter where I am. I'll get stuff. But you know, the more sort of events and things, you know, that happen, you know, like obviously, like you know, Wayland is our local sort of store as such, more so than GW. But I don't think, like, they've, you know, even with their facilities that they've got, do you think that they could actually do sort of like a little convention thing in that unit? No. Like, I'd say what they had available at GriffCon, the hall was probably about the same sort of size as the whole of the thing, including the cafeteria area at Wayland. Plus, they had a little separate room as well, like the green room for the VIPs could go into. And a stage area and stuff like that. So it's, you know, I'm all for getting these sort of things up and going and happening, because the last few years there's not been anything going on, and GW have sort of stopped doing their sort of like Warhammer Fest and stuff, in particular, or the weekenders. You know, I don't think with the Heresy weekender, because the last one was 2019, and it weren't as a veteran of many weekenders, it wasn't the greatest organisational wise, because it was a new venue. The events team took over from Forge World themselves, so that had an effect on how things played out, which was a shame, because it was a little bit crazy at times, to be fair. But with these events, you know, get-togethers, that's what it is. It's get-togethers, meeting hobbyists, because the way the hobby universe is nowadays. You know, like a few of the people in this chat, I've met, and you know, some of them I've even adopted because they're awesome people. So, you know, having these little meetups is really cool. Just to hang out, you know, names to faces and all that sort of stuff, and you know, get involved, because I think the way, you know, friendship circles develop nowadays are totally different to how they were when we were all younger. Yes, I do think the effect. I said that from the beginning, mate. When Alan sadly died, there was an Alan-sized hole at Forge World. The only person at the time I thought could take over was Andy Hoare on the writing side of things, because he was already working there in that capacity. Well, he was working there in that capacity, but he'd just been made head of specialist games, which, to be fair, is his bread and butter. that's what he loves. And obviously, over the last few years, I think Specialist Games have stepped up and have done an amazing job with their releases, the stuff that goes into supporting the games as well. But yeah, Alan Bligh is a monstrous hole to try and fill, because he was so unique and amazing and such a decent person as well. And obviously and we've all seen over the last few years since his passing how it has affected Forge World, because obviously the books were disrupted. Obviously they've done. Noel Wiley took over on that, and obviously they've done their best to get the content out to us. But yeah, it's been hard going. So, but I think now with the 2.0 version of Heresy, that it's like the next phase. So that's actually like a rebirth as such, with all the new kits and stuff. So all the interest and all the happiness is there. I think pretty much everyone here who's invested in Heresy, like the new kits and stuff, I think we're all happy with it. Also, in a 30k day they did this year seemed to hack off a lot of friends off who had historically been more HH focused than I, due to ticket seeming mostly go to YouTube people over the HHS. I'll disagree with that, because obviously there was, with COVID, there was limited sort of spacing or whatever, but that got increased anyway, because initially we was told there was going to be like 250 tickets available. There was more than 250 people there. They did also later on open it up for people to come in anyway. Lots of people. I was there with a lot of people that I know from the Titans Owners Club, who are all fanatical Titan heads, but also Heresy heads. And so we all congregated. Yes, we were all lucky to get tickets, but we got tickets and we went there. There was that initial outpouring of rage and anger that people, oh, I'm a super fan and stuff like that. We're all fans, but there's only so many tickets available. And, hopefully things will change and they'll open up having a big thing. But then the Heresy Weekenders weren't that massive. There was like, about 300 to 400 people at the Heresy Weekenders. But yeah, it was fun. I think obviously because of the change of direction that Games Workshop are doing, they want to get more mainstream crowds, so that's why they're getting the influencers in there. Now, some of the influencers are legitimate. So like Richard Gray, you can't really say anything about him because he's just a fucking awesome painter. Electric Eve, again, former Games Workshop studio painter and host of Warhammer TV. She loves her Death Guard. She loves her. Well, she done Corax for them, and she now loves her emo boy. There was a few others. Obviously, Angel Gilels, guy's a legend, and they're now getting him to do work for Games Workshop. So, yeah, and a few other people like from. Oh, broke me. Yeah, I'm naked. A few other people within the groups, but there was loads of other people there that were all, people I've seen on Heresy groups. So it's not as if some sort of Champagne Charlie had turned up eating prawn sandwiches or anything like that. Everyone there were fans of the thing in one thing. They're just trying for another route. They're wanting to make it more mainstream, which can only be good for the playing groups out there. More people play Heresy, more models, more investment into the actual Heresy as well. So, but obviously, all us older fans, we've been there since the start. But we've got to get the youngsters in. Get those youngins in. Omegan's Edge. He's a big Heresy lover. He goes to most of the Heresy games. I actually met him the month previous to him at Greetings from the Warp event, where I believe he was actually playing there, amongst others. So yeah, the Heresy is in good condition. Frankly, spec games have kept me involved in GW. 40k 8 onwards haven't really done it for me. Initially too simplified and torn is in mind, which 40k never was. 9th is better, but I don't know. Some people are saying, I heard rumours that 10th is already on its way because the amount of backlash over 9th. I've played a couple of games in 9th. I did not enjoy it. It confused the hell out of me. But that could be just because I'm getting old. Gloves are off. Quite literally. I'll go at these with a bit more. Watching you hammer that tank is making me nervous. You really trust that varnish layer. It's got a good couple of varnish layers before I put the clear on there. CJ Stratton are just daft mess in 40k. Totally, almost all the regular players at my local 30k have picked up a box and been playing the last few weeks. Once I get a moment to breathe with work, I'm digging out my salamanders. Take them on. Awesome. I reckon vehicles will look very similar on the table, Lee, even with our different painting approaches. Well, that's something we'll have to do. I know Ivy's mentioned, and Phil, when I saw him yesterday, I only saw him yesterday, and I spoke to him for an hour today. I just there's something going on between us two. But we've got to organise a get together at some point, and then we can actually bring our stuff to bear. Obviously, when I played Ivy the other week, we took I took one, she brought a squad because she was like, "I'm gonna kill you," and he put them together. And yeah, in certain lights, yeah, they were too dissimilar. To be fair, like because I was using contrast and Ivy was using the Tamiya method sort of thing. But as I say, you paint them to how we want them to look. You know, they don't have to match. They're in the ballpark. That's all that really matters. But yeah, obviously with the oil weathering, that's definitely going to sort of change the look to them. So yeah, maybe they will look fairly similar. But you know, we're all playing catch up with you. I might, when I'm away next week, I'll try and get our other friend started on her alphas. Although I'm not sure, I don't think she has an airbrush, so she'll be doing the same effort as me, I guess, but with brush. So we're going to have to work on her watering it down a bit. Totally agree, Mola. I couldn't believe our luck when they went back to the last good edition and actually built on it. I'm sure that certain people in the studio who headed up the change of 8 to 8 for 9 for a bit vexed that their rules weren't picked up for 30k, which I think it was a rumour, but Mr. Bly, it was, yeah, no, 7th and 7.5 was, you know, how he envisioned it and how he wanted it. And to be fair, I've always been of the opinion, so it's my opinion, so see, it may differ to others. But hey, speaking of devil, Mauler, I was always of the opinion that basically like 40k and Games Workshop doing like Primaris was to differentiate the 40k game from the Heresy. So they would keep the old first born Marines, and then Primaris could represent 40k sort of thing. So you've got your two different game systems, because you can't have Primaris in Heresy. So I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that was, you know, something pretty good. But now obviously Games Workshop are taking over the Heresy and they're making it more mainstream. And as I said, it's going to be good for us hobbyists with all, you know, plastic Sicarans, plastic new Rhinos, Kratos, which everyone's like, oh, it's a new tank, where did it come from? But everybody's fallen in love with it. Oh, you gave him a heads up, did you? Oh, I thought it was magic. You just ruined it for me. Next you'll be telling me that Santa Claus doesn't exist. Boo Mario. I don't mind a Primaris. I like them because of the size. But, you know, I'm easily pleased. And obviously, everyone who's in here, don't forget, I'm surprised that you judge. It was probably someone else anyway. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. I have to do that for legal reasons, as I'm a semi-professional YouTuber. Well, yeah, they were taken in there. Has there actually been a story of Primaris running around in that period? Because it seems, well, it'd bring him more, because, yeah, I don't know, because Cole hasn't found Guilliman as yet. Tennessee firstborn gear slowly sliding to Heresy, all new Marines 40k stuff to be Primaris. Smash the button, you knobs. We've got a nice turnout tonight, which is lovely. I appreciate you all. What is everyone working on tonight anyway? Did I ask that question earlier on? and all I can remember is Rob is working on his destroyers. I'm actually watching on the audio mixer, seeing how much crunch I can make. For those wondering, I'm actually eating some pork scratchings. I found a flavour of a variety that's really nice. I think GW kind of had a subtext of cool working on Primaris mods at the tail end of the 30k, but thankfully we're not seeing that in the leaking in yet. Yeah, as I said, I enjoy painting Primaris more because of the bigger models. It's what Space Marines should have been. And here we go. I forgot. Alex is doing Lionel Johnson, so we have 3 Dark Angel players in this one stream. This is amazing. I don't think we've had as many Dark Angels in one place. Dire Wolf, 2 Reavers, and Armigers for the Nova. Oh yeah, Nova's coming up soon as well, isn't it? That'll be fun. Models are taking a bit of a backseat. You've been trying to figure out what you're doing with your Rhino mostly. You're doing an awesome job with your Rhino. You're working really well on that, and I'm liking how it's turning out. So just go with your gut. Go with your gut. You'll be fine. I trust you. I know you can do this. I believe in you. Although one of the Dark Angels is now building World Bearers. I was saying the Primaris, i.e. Firstborn, not the HH or actual Primaris. Oh, right, okay. Rust, you're still doing your Necromunda stuff. Excellent. Free trade. Don't you start, Judge. These new HH Marines are slightly scaled up versus old school Marines. The Predators maybe, yeah. Obviously, tactical rocks. I did post up a picture of a Forge World one next to the Primaris. Not the Primaris, sorry. Next to the new HH ones. And the main difference is, as I call them, you've got the skinny G Marines versus the boot cut. That's basically their thighs are thicker in comparison to the Forge World ones. Height-wise, they're not that dissimilar, but they're just slightly skinnier, and the backpack sits up higher on the newer one as well. But yeah, they're not a million miles apart, but it's just that you can see that slight, resin versus the old kits. But the characters, definitely are a bit more chunk, if anything. Cracking on with AOS Chaos Chariot this weekend. Nice. Good judge. Dark Angels are about as low as I can stomach. Yeah, I wanted a traitor legion. 12th welcomes you. Thick boys. No Reaver Crocs. You leave Crocs at the door. So I haven't oil washed the Volkite. What are they? They're not calibers, are they? The Volkites, CH char grills. I don't know, because I need to find my sepia. My Seraphim sepia has seemed to have gone missing, so I can't actually do those weapons, which is very, very annoying. And I've left the auto cannons indoors, so I'm not going to get them. Well, to be fair, there's scope for traitor loyalists and loyalist traitors in this edition. Chernavals. Yeah, that'll do. Loyalist Alpha Legion are interesting. Yep, they're all loyalists. There's no traitors amongst them, as it says in the book. If it's not in the book, there you go. All loyalists. Right, let's do a flyby. So, right. Ooh. Use condom. Tidy this area up a bit. Right, flyby. So come down. So got, if it can ever focus, because it's not focusing. Actually, what I'm going to actually do, I am going to go get the other one. So I'm going to get the other one to put as a comparative against this one. And hopefully this bloody thing will actually... it's having a real problem with actually focusing. So if I leave that there for a second. Alright, I'm just going to run in and get the other one. So, ooh, don't go places. Be right back. Right, one has returned, and I'm going to stick the little auto cannons into position. He says. Right, so not too shabby if you ask me. I think that's coloration wise, that's not too bad at all, really. sort your Volkites. So completely armed the same. Legion was a good read. Alphas are on their own page. Dat Abnet never writes the same book twice. Look sharp, thank you very much. That's a little bit lighter than that one, but I can probably give that something over. Also, 30k tanks are building on the Sikaran Aquita Saber design for the Kratos. Indeed, I like. This is a chunky Sikaran. I put one up against a Omega Destroyer, and it's longer, slightly chunkier, obviously higher with the turret. But yeah, thank you, Artist Empire. I know who you are. I've heard of you. And Edwin, hello Edwin, sneaking in there, and Andrew. It's 2 inches further than you think. It's always 2 inches further. Can't focus on it. The Alpha Legion, isn't it? Yep, exactly. Right, folks. What do we want to? Oh, right. Where do folks want to go? I could do a nice med holiday personally. Thank you very much, David. Chunkers. They are chunkers. Look at them. They're super chunk. Twin chunk. So obviously I've got a difference on the turrets. So I went with that, the triple head, throwing star triple head. Because that one I went with a big decal. I wanted to go really sort of, excessive on that one. And the same with the decals there, because on this one I went with a smaller silvery one, which you can't quite focus on. But yeah, I'm so pleased with how these both have turned out. Just really damn sexy, I tell you. So with the these bits here, I went black on those ones as opposed to going with that because I missed that on the last one. I forgot to paint the targeter, so I went over with silver and I'd done a watered down version of a Kellyan over it. It was a little bit deeper, so I heavily went over sponging it with the Ironbreaker. So it works, but I'll probably do the same there. I weren't too happy with the black on them, but on the auto cannons, these little things, as we discussed on a previous show or hangout, I've seen these sort of weapons on like ship defense guns. I was watching Tom Hanks in The Greyhound, and they had the guns there with those and black sort of rubber shock absorbers. So I thought that's what's happening with mine, and I'm pretty pleased with how they are looking. So these are such nice tanks. I'm really pleased as well. You get 2 in a squad. That's one heavy support squad. That's worth 800 points. That's it's a lot of chunk. Yeah, and I've also got to do the Volkites, whatever they are. Yeah, Greyhound is actually. I heard a lot of bad press about it, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was really intense. It kind of reminded me of there was a Battlestar Galactica episode 33, which was basically the Cylons turned up every 33 minutes, and it was just a really intense episode. Warhound Abeyant mode activated. So that was last week's one, with all the dirtied up decals, chipping. So it's the Volkite's Seraphim on there. And then tonight's tidy up job. So again, you can see with the missiles where I'd missed painting the thing over it. So yeah, this is all pretty groovy, baby. I think what I did differently with those is that had some agrax over it, but let's get the old picture taken for the postings. Really, really pleased with how that's turned out. Actually, I know, like, some of you might have seen the pictures I posted up where they are the before and after. I done it Twitter the other day. The before and after. I was really worried that the newer one weren't going to match with this, which luckily it has. So yeah, I'm so pleased with that. That is perfect. Obviously, this one is the one that I can. He says, no. That's better. So you can pop them out, pop a different weapon in there. Obviously that doesn't, and then pop that back in to position. That one is fixed. That's not going anywhere. So I can swap in with the what do you call it? The melter blast gun thingy, or the Volkite destructor ray. Looks really good. Thank you very much. How are the infantry based? Infantry, I've gone with the same method I've used with my Titans. That's my go-to now, which I put like a sand mix glued onto the base. I sprayed the entire model with my Halford's grey primer. Then I do lead belcher on the Marine. Then I go over with Mechanicum standard grey over the base. Dry brush it with Tyrant Skull. Volkite Chevrolet. So dry brush a Tyrant Skull, and then I just wash it with Agrax, and that's it. It's done for all my Titans and Knights. It can do for my Alpha Legion. So yeah, it's I'm just really pleased. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. The clock. That was the second episode. Yeah, it was. Yes, it was the second episode of Battlestar Galactica. Because you had the TV movie pilot thingy, which was like, you know, mini. It was like two. It was 2 episodes in one, but that was like the second sort of like main episode after, which was just, you know, it was nerve wracking, and you felt it. And that was the thing about Battlestar Galactica; it was so intense at times, and the writing was brilliant, and even everything was good about it. And I'm surprised that they're actually thinking about doing a remake already. Glad you went with the oils. Yeah, so am I. Varnish them quick. Well, I'll get to it. You have a Volkite Chevrolet, Volkite Carnival. Carnival! Yeah, no, that is spot on. So how many of you guys have got onto your Kratos yet? Or have you found any? Because I know that them and Rhinos have been out of stock. Because they are just awesome. Poor Ivy, she got her one with 2 left side sprues, but they've been replaced now with a new right side sprues. So that's good. I think it's lost its way when they made a colony, but everything was up to, including Pegasus, was great. I think, see, I always remember speaking to my friend Mike about Battlestar Galactica, like compared to the old BSG, the original BSG, and then they had Galactica 80. It was always a case for me that they would either turn up and basically how it sort of how it ended, like they turned up before humanity was a thing, sort of thing, because they found the 13th colony and found that they'd already blown themselves up, and then they went on and found this other planet that they called Earth, which had Neanderthals walking around, because it's a whole ties in with the whole where did Homo sapiens suddenly come from, and that sort of shenanigans. So yeah, that was one option, and obviously the other one was to turn up like they did last time, Galactica 80 all over again. So obviously they thought, no, we'll go the other way, and yeah, I'd have that. I think the whole Cara Thrace situation with the angel type thing, that just went a little bit bonkers. So I don't know. I have 2 unbuilt, built but not painted yet. Mine's still in a box. Found that Firestorm Games had a few Kratos in. Ordered it last week. Turned up next day. Excellent. Nah, just a box and the Praetors from Calf. Pre-ordered Leviathan and spare arms. Again, I had somebody on Instagram bemoaning that, oh, they're coming out, they've got all these, you got to buy 2 different ones. But if you had read the actual Warhammer community post, they said that they were selling the close combat arms as a separate sprue. So it's like, okay, you can have them. At the end of the day, this is why they have a really good market report, because they're selling double the kits. It's in a garage, will have to be left alone until Necromunda is done. That's fair. I'm thinking I'll pick one up, but at the moment I'm knee deep in Cacophony. No, that's fair. Cacophony need to be knee deep in something. I have quite a few, because I normally, my Emperor's Children, I'd normally run them as a 3rd company elite. So to have them as troops, sort of thing, to free up the heavy support choices. So I've got 2 10-man squads of Cacophony. But yes, they're awesome. But you need time to work with them. Controversial, Kratos doesn't do it for me. Cool tank, I'm sure, but not fussed. Give me a glaive any day. But that's the thing, you can only have 1 glaive. unless you, because they don't seem to have Leviathan set up anymore. So you can only have one Lord of War, and his glaives are awesome, which they are. These you could have. Is it 4 HQ? Sorry, 4 heavy support choices, so you could have 8 of these. Although 8 of these would be, like I say, in this format at 3,200 points. So, and that's no troops or HQ. But yeah, no, actually, I wouldn't mind actually doing that. Having possibilities of a repaint, maybe. I'm thinking of picking one up, but at the moment, without lawn green, what does it matter? Well, I quite like what James Edward Olmos done with his Adama. It's weird, like when they first announced that Starbuck was going to be a woman, I thought, what? But Starbuck's are like, the character is a womanizer or something. But Katie Sackhoff, I was into her. No, I was with her because she just brought a new form of Starbuck. Obviously, we had a woman boomer, and that we didn't have Sheba, or I don't think there wasn't a Cassiopeia either. So they'd done away with those characters, but making Starbuck, who was obviously one of the main guys in the original, as a woman, it paid off because Katie Sackhoff is Starbuck, and Starbuck is Katie Sackhoff. It would have been nice to have Dirk Benedict involved somewhere, like Richard Hatch was, and he was apparently going to be part of it, but some exec somewhere went, no, don't do that. Because it would have been good to have him as, like, I think he was lined up to be some sort of like, a former pilot who was a trainer, instructor, sort of thing. That obviously gets called in and that, but never panned out, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's a Writers Guild or thing or not, but several shows, films seem to have similar stuff around the same time. Yeah, I think it was the writer's strike and stuff didn't help. When BSG went on that angelic slant, I'm sure it's around the same time that Supernatural introduced Castiel, who was an actual angel, and with Covenant and Kingsman both having country roads in them. I like Castiel though. Castiel was cool. That's one of the reasons I used to watch. But the thing is, with Supernatural, up till season 5, that was their only planned arc. They planned for 5 years, 5 seasons. And then because it was so popular, they kept on saying, "Got to do more, got to do more." It's the same what happened with Lost. Lost was really good and was only meant to be a finite amount of episodes, but it didn't. And they said, "Oh no, you got to keep going, keep going," and they pushed it on. The opposite being Game of Thrones, where they said, "Oh, we're only going to do 30 more episodes." That was the worst mistake ever. I think those two wanted to get out because they were being lined up to do Star Wars, so they wanted to get it finished so they can get out and do Star Wars. But even though he hasn't finished the books, still, George R.R. Martin has said that they could have gone for a couple more seasons, but they rushed it. And cinematography wise, the last season is it has some great visuals in there, but just not the story. Same with B5. Yeah, B5. Yeah, we spoke about this recently. Because they got cancelled in season 4. they weren't going to get retaken up again. They just crashed out. And he wanted to finish off. He wanted to finish it, so he'd done the last 3 episodes. And then it said, no, actually, we'll give you another one. It completely destroyed the flow. B5 was my favourite sci-fi until I saw The Expanse. The Expanse is fucking amazing. I know there's some people here who I've gone on about The Expanse and still haven't watched it, but it is fucking brilliant. Love it. Stargate SG-1 Oriarch was a bit earlier than that, but did have a similar divine/religious approach. Be fair, with Stargate, they always had that religious thing because of the whole Egyptian pharaoh stuff from the movie, that they were playing on that they were gods and stuff anyway. So I think you can accept that to a point in Stargate because of that approach. But if they're doing angels and Christianity sort of thing, then yeah, maybe. The sort of toilet that doesn't even have toilets, yeah. The TV show is great, but OFC, the books are much. I enjoyed the books as well. Audio books were really good, just so you can hear Avasarala swearing more profusely than she does in the movie, in the TV show. And she gets some great one-liners. And there's some great lines that Amos is great for the odd line here and that. So the one that always sticks in my mind is he was born to be the last man standing. And like there was a conversation, it's like like if I'm dead, you're all dead, sort of thing. Basically just saying like I am going to be the last one going. I will. And it's just a matter of fact. He's not boasting. He's not trying to intimidate anyone. It's just fact. These are really nice. I'm sorry, your crunching's coming across. Avasarala is the bollocks. I would say the thing I like about The Expanse, right, was it is a journey from where it starts to where it ends up, which I've never divulged that in any of the streams that I've ever done and spoken about The Expanse. From where you enter The Expanse, and to where you end up, you would not imagine that's where you're going to end up. Because it starts off as it's sort of a space mystery detective thriller sort of thing. Because you've got Miller, you've got the crew of the Canterbury, and you've got Avasarala on Earth, and the tensions within the galaxy. But you say where it sort of goes from there, like the first couple of, and I always say this to everyone who's ever going to watch The Expanse, the first 3 episodes, you've got to stick with it because they're sort of setting the foundations to what's going on, and all the stuff that you have happening in those episodes comes back and gets paid off later at some point in one of the seasons or other. So it doesn't really start going, to me, when you get up to sort of the last sort of 10 minutes of episode 3 is when the momentum starts to shift. Episode 4 is where it fucking goes onto the afterburners and starts pushing forward. You get through that first season, and you get onto the second season. And second season for me, the second and third are my favourite because of what happens in those. which again I'm never going to expand on that, but it's some great storytelling. It's proper sci-fi as well because they are using, science. They speak to scientists and say the whole thing about space. Like, if in Star Wars you're flying around an X-wing fighter, you're pulling off all these maneuvers, turning on a sixpence. Space doesn't allow you to do that. You pick up speed. Speed generates gravity because the thrust force, which we have seen in films like Armageddon, when they're going around the slingshot maneuver around the moon to get up to the asteroid that's coming to destroy Earth. That is all legitimate. Basically, you're basically a constant thrust will provide gravity. So not only have you got spin gravity like you see in 2001, where you have the space station rotating and stuff like that, they incorporate that into the series as well. But the thing I liked about it more was, unlike things like Star Wars, Star Trek, more likely actually, all the aliens are humanoid in that, and they're all the same height and this, that, and the other. Here, we're only dealing with humans. So you've got humans on Earth, you've got humans on Mars, you've got humans in the belt. Mars has lesser gravity. The belt has even lesser gravity. So all the people that have been living in the belt for the last couple of generations, each generation is basically getting taller, longer, their bone density weaker because of the gravity. The advantage is they can work in zero-G a lot better than somebody from Earth, sort of thing. They're used to it. They're part of their everyday life, sort of thing. Downside is, if you introduce one of those belters to Earth's gravity by bringing them down the well, it hurts. They actually, there is a scene in the first episode or second episode where Avasarala, who's part of the UN, who the UN runs Earth, is actually torturing a terrorist belter, a member of the OPA, the Outer Planets Alliance, by just hanging him up on pegs, literally just putting his arms over and hanging him from them and letting gravity do all the work. Because it's excruciating. So normally they have to put them into a swimming tank to be in zero-G. One thing I loved about the books is at the end of each one, the scale and the threat steps up significantly. Yes. And your other previous comment, yeah, but season 6 was an adequate jump-off point. Because in the books, after season 6 and Babylon's Ashes, the book Babylon's Ashes, it jumps 30 years. So it was an appropriate stop. You've got the start of, in the books, the final 3 books starts from there, but there is a 30-year gap. So obviously Amazon thought, we've had enough now, stopped it. This is a shame, but I can understand it. Even when you think you can't know. Expanse respects that its audience is smart enough to understand the story, not common note. Exactly. Sometimes you get these shows which basically just force feed you every bit of information, and you don't. It's nice to have that where you can actually watch it and go with it. The other thing I liked about the last couple of seasons on Amazon is that they did it. They weren't like, when they released it, it was episodic each week, and that makes a huge difference to how you watch them. Like streaming them, binging them, that's one thing. Like you can binge them all now to your heart's content, but at the time, it's letting you digest each episode. And I think that's something that we've lost a little bit with streaming, like content, is that we used to watch our favourite shows and then we'd have to wait, and then you're like talking about them, you're remembering them, and it sort of sticks in your head more. And then when it comes around, there's more satisfaction from you get from the show. sort of thing. So it's like drip feeding. So unless you're very sort of able to sort of resist binging, like last week, me and Sam finished watching Peacemaker. So we were up to episode 4, and then we finished the entire the rest of the season that night because we just got stuck in it and just went for it. But yeah, that was fun. But something like The Expanse, you need that sort of conversation with people about things and enjoying it. Finbo's supposed to know this one, but it's a good story with details. No pew-pew lasers, just ballistic weapons and lasers for comms. Star Trek equals vagina head prosthetic alien of the week. Star Trek is the message, nothing else. It's a pitiful shadow of its origins. Oh yeah, there's a 30-year jump. Hershey Church, so true. I had this in my keyboard buffer. Also, The Expanse, unlike Star Trek, and don't get me started on that. I should go watch The Expanse right now. Yes, as I said, it takes a few episodes to get warmed up, and then next minute you'll be on to season 4. Now, season 4 is because each season's based on one book, and the last episode of each season has the name of that book. Season 4 is Cibola Burns, and the 4th book is considered the weakest out of all the books that they've produced. However, I was like, season 4, Cibola Burns, it's not going to be that great. It was actually really good. I really enjoyed the TV version of Cibola Burn. They had some really great acting talent in there. Bern Gorman, who was in Torchwood. He was also in the Pacific Rim movies as one of the crazy scientist dudes. He was a very posh English-speaking one. And also in Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, he was the representative who Bane twatted. No, sorry, he was the representative. Was Bane twatted? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was him, yeah. I definitely know that Catwoman had a thing with him. But he plays this security guy called Mercury. And the thing is, it does give conflict because you're meant to sort of dislike certain characters, but then certain characters are only doing what they're paid to do. But him and Amos, who is one of my favourite character, him and Avasarala are my favourite characters in that, and obviously Drummer, because I love Drummer. Drummer is just brilliant. And oh my, there are so many great characters, especially in the sort of the middle series as well. David Strathclyde, who plays the Ghost Knight for Callisto. Muller, what's his name? Damn it. Oh, damn it. That's bugging me now. I said that's it. The Ghost Knight for Callisto is his sort of like handle. He's got very Klaus. Fuck! Damn it! No, can't think of it. Ashford. Clace Ashford, the Ghost Knight for Callisto. His character, like, is just fucking brilliant. Absolutely love him. And don't say anything about him, Mauler. Clace. Ashford. Diversity best is when it's not made central point of the universe. Just do it and tell a story. And then you watch it again because it's bloody awesome. Yes. Peacemaker was surprisingly good. It was. Mandalorian is another show that really, really benefit from being released episodically. Yes, I'm not going to disagree with you there. Mercury. It built being interested in the story through pausing. Mandalorian fell off the cliff in season 2 and 2.5. Boba Fett. I like the Mandalorian bits in Boba Fett. The motivations that make complete sense in the setting. No one in the Expanse is evil for the sake of the plot. True. Say that again. Ashford. Ashford is amazing. I was riding on the Razor Crest hard until they made Grogu a MacGuffin and it fell apart. No spoilers here. I say with the whole Amos thing, Amos again, from where he starts out to where he ends up, and everything in between, is freaking awesome. Do it, Alex. As I say, bear with it for those first 3 episodes because there's some stuff that happens in those episodes that are really cool, but then it starts to pick up from definitely from the 4th episode. That's when things start getting real. That's a crunchy one. That's empty. Sorry. Reload. Ivy, how's that rhino coming? Oh. Oh, those destroyers are awesome, mate. Yeah, they're really, really good, mate. I just saw that crow vulture thing that he put on there as well. Yes, I know. I was watching that. I haven't. To be fair, I dropped off a while back because doing this, pretty much because it comes on a Wednesday, and with all my other podcasts because I've been heavily involved in listening to podcasts and stuff, such as We Have Ways of Making You Talk, the Second World War, and The Rest is History, as well as It's a Chat by my friends Scott Tronick, which is basically about Star Wars, Star Trek, anything else that takes the mind, really. But yeah, I was watching that quite religiously for a while. I can't actually remember the last one I actually watched. I have missed loads because obviously every Wednesday. But yeah, there was always fun to enjoy, and they are enjoyable. I'll probably catch up with them at some point. Yeah, I can't remember. There was one episode they had early on. They actually had Ron Perlman on episode with them, and they ended up speaking about lots of the films he was in and stuff like that. But they were talking about the work because he worked with Marlon Brando, and he had a bit of a run-in with Marlon Brando, which was a total mistake. He obviously he's Marlon Brando, legendary actor and all that. He was working on this thing, and he sent him because he knew he liked a certain type of music. I think it was like some sort of jazz musician music, or that, and he had this record or album or tape or something, and he basically passed it on to him anonymously. And then when they were doing their parts, Ron Perlman was this like herald, like this monster-faced, goat-headed herald on the island of Dr. Moreau, and for some reason, Marlon Brando just had a problem with him, and was like being like, oh, I don't want him there, get him out of my sight, and all that. And they go, but can't he's like, but apparently they got things resolved in the end, sort of thing. But it was just like he just didn't understand why this guy was really like. He just thought he was an extra, basically, and like he'd done a few things at a time, so he'd obviously done his Beauty and the Beast days and stuff at the time. But yeah, he was. He was like, "What the hell's going on?" He was a bit of a strange one, bless him. Yeah, he would literally eat him. You definitely seem to have had fun with these, Rob. All the Appalachian you've done are of excellent quality. Of top quality indeed. So I'm just literally just sitting there. It went a lot quicker than I expected to be. Let's make sure of. Make sure these last bits here, bits I may have missed. But yes, it's we've talked about like the Rhino's looking really good. It's quite good. I'm sure it is. Are you going to put the method down in writing for people? What do you mean? Are you going to weather them? That is my weathering. I don't go like full on Filipito weathering because like you're just like the weathering master. Can't be treading on your toes. Keep everything simple and basic. That's me. Don't want to doing that one. That's always been tarnished. Oh, the painting and weathering methods. Hold on a sec. Rob Hull. Yeah, I did put down. I did put it down on. Well, I've tweeted it before. What's your method for tank tracks? I've got to do the tracks on this Rhino. I want them looking filthy. Filthy. Yeah, what I'll probably do, Mauler, is probably easier just to put them onto my Facebook page, Forge and Miles. So, because it's either that or I can probably put on Instagram as well, because obviously you only get so many letters on Twitter, don't you? And finding stuff on Instagram is a lot easier because you just find me, look down, find the things, and you're done. So there you go, one-on-one lesson with filthy engine filth. Engine filth. Yeah, I still haven't got a fucking clue what I'm going to do at the weekend. I have started building some more tacticals actually, but yeah, basically it's a very straightforward method for painting Alpha Legion anyway, and obviously the weathering is just simple, but it's the ingredients that you use. Obviously you've got to get the varnishing right, and then obviously the clear is quite important. Although I think you can, Rob, could you actually get away with just using normal spray varnishes over airbrushing on the old clear, or not? Back to Titans you go. Come round and help me build Heresy. I might do. Depends what mood I'm in. I'll tell you what, Phil, you might be able to come round here on a Saturday night. Have you sitting next to us. And actually, just bear in mind, Saturday next week, I'm not around. I'm away that weekend. So just a heads up for you now. Obviously, this weekend and Wednesday I'll be here, but the Saturday I'm away. So. And there's also using hey, Luke's here. Hello, son. I think it's the last weekend of October, and then the next 2 Saturdays. So it'll be 3 Saturdays I won't be on because I've got several things going on in that type area. So I've got my friend Brian's birthday celebration Star Wars roleplay weekend at the end of October. First weekend of November, going to a gig. See which Kaiser Chiefs. And then the following weekend is the grand finale prestige event of the year of the Titan Walk 2022. The main one, the big one, up in Milton Keynes, where a few of these miscreants in the chat will also be with the Titans trying to kill me, no doubt. Mostly my children. Let's make models with Templars 01. Crusade, yes. Templars Crusade 01. Yes, so that's his birthday party. Birthday weekend is the end of October. So if you follow him on Instagram and you see like all the Star Wars stuff he's putting out, that's all the stuff we'll be playing with. It's the weekend of the 12th of November. So if you're going to have your Titans up and ready for that, you need to get them registered with the Titans Owners Club, and then you can participate in the walk. Know his theme tube off by heart. Your one's a traitor, aren't they, Mauler? Because I do know that traitors normally have a poor showing at Titan walks, so you'd probably be welcome up there. Also, what they might, I think we're going to try and implement is actually, instead of having you sort of on your own, that you'll actually try and merge you in with another group of Titans and form a mana pool of some sort, because it helps not dying. Safety in numbers. Well, as I say, it's it's a prestige event, the premium event of the year for the Titans Princeps. But yeah, because normally, as I was saying, with traitor engines, there's normally more loyalists than traitors. So this year, we've actually going to be having a second game running at the same time of loyalists versus Eldari Phantoms. So apparently, there's going to be about 20 Eldari Phantom Titans participating in the walk. So that's going to be fun. Much more fun to join in, and hilarious meetings of insane Titan heads. Ferris Bueller Ferrari of Titan walks. We have speculated that we could possibly, now if everyone who said that they are going to be participating actually participates to the full capacity of their Titanness, we could be hitting about 150 Titans, including the Eldar Titans that are turning up. But yeah, so it's a big thing. It's a big event. But we don't really have it set up as such for spectators as such as yet. So you do need to have a Titan. Set the world record, yeah. Yeah. Well, I know, Luke, you're doing your part to fill out the numbers. And obviously we need to get Ivy, help her out, get her engines up and running. Because if we can get that going as well, that'd be awesome. But just remember, Beachhead is more of a spectator one. No, you'd be happy to know that you don't really have to worry about Legio rules, although we have considered about having Legio rules. We have just been doing straightforward Titan on Titan action to try and keep things simplified. Because when you've got so many people on one battlefield, it does get a little bit overwhelming, and we need to keep the game rolling. So yeah, it's there you go, Ivy. Rob's volunteering to help. Yeah, your knights would be fielded as a banner, so you can field a banner of knights. They all have to be the same knight though. So even though you might have different knights, you've got to choose one of them to which they represent. Yeah, yes, Judge. It is intense. I will again reiterate my warning towards Luke and Ivy. Don't be on the opposite side to me. And I say that out of the deepest part of my heart, because I will, whatever's in front of me, I will kill. As much as I love you, and I love you both deeply, I will destroy you. I mean, in AT I'm Morningstar, so loyalists, but both Legio Tenebrae and House Dust can be shifty. I got a fist for my Reaver. I'm gonna Will Smith you. You know what? And you know what, Luke? You probably will. This will be the time that you probably will. If it's going to happen to anyone, it's going to happen to me. I painted an AT chain fist in 28mm, but I need the top part of the arm to mag it up with. I'm thinking I should get my first 28mm Titan soon enough, a Warbringer. Nice. Now, Warbringers, I actually really do like. I really do like Warbringers. They are Reaver Plus. So you've got your two Reaver arm weapons and you've got your top shot there, sort of thing. But they just have that little bit more staying power compared to a Reaver. They might not be as fast, but they are still an intimidating Titan. Do I regret not getting a Reaver, Warbringer for my mana pool? Maybe. But I think I always envisioned, I always envisioned having like an Axiom. Or was it, as it was once known, the Venatari mana pool? So the Warlord, 2 Reavers and 2 Hounds. So it's a continuation of that. I'm happy with my Titan mana pool. They do the job that I want them to do. And I think my record speaks for itself. So yeah, I'm happy with that. A Warbringer would be nice one day, maybe, if I'm lucky. Win the lottery or something, or I have to sell something. Because I sold my 2 main 40k armies to help finance my last Reaver Titan, as well as to pay for my car insurance and MOT of said car. So yeah, there was that. But yeah, I actually really do think Warbringers are really underrated. They are such a nice, like, criminal record. I am the Titan Death. Damn it, Microsoft, I need more than 4K words to tell you why Windows 11 is banned for poodoo. I was the same with the head initially, but it's really good. No, exactly. I weren't sure on the head of the Warbringer, but it does definitely grow on you, and it has. I really like it. It has that Centurion look. I can almost envision it going along with a shield and a gladius. But the Quake cannon or the volcano cannon on the roof is definitely something to worry about. I would still opt for the Quake cannon because I love making things dance. But yeah, it's definitely Edwin. If you're going to go with a Titan, then yeah, Warbringer definitely is something to aim for. And as I say, if when you do, you just drop in because we have several princeps here who have built Warbringers and are well versed in the construction foibles and traps and tribulations that they may have. But yeah, you can't really go too wrong. And then once you've got your Titan, you can turn up to a Titan walk. Still haven't seen a Warby with a fist though. And I'm surprised that my son hasn't decided to do that. Why have you no fist on your Warby? Why? Why, son? Why? Right. Well, so I've got nothing much else to do really, so I'm gonna call it quits tonight. Because again, I've got early start tomorrow. I've got kids to look after. Don't tempt you. Well, you want to. You want to put if warhounds could have fists, they would have fists for you. Of course, I need to see if I can go yet. Well, there is that as well. Yes, it is. Well, to be fair, from our area, it's only a couple of hours drive anyway. So, if well, depends on traffic and depends where you're going from. But it is, if you can go to the event, obviously you get yourself paid up because you do have to pay to participate because obviously these things cost money. But if you do get involved in it, it is definitely well worth it. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on like the sort of the team, but it is a great crowd of hobbyists. I say several of them you've met already in this very chat, and it is a good, fun time as well. And you say you get to run your big guys out against other big guys and get blown up. But yeah, it is such a fun time to see, having all those Titans out on display, because we always put the Titans out on display first of all as well, so people can see them all arranged, looking lovely. But yeah, it's definitely worth getting involved into. So you will not go wrong. I'll be honest with you, Mauler. And everybody is so warm and welcoming. And then with a smile, we blow each other up. But yes, it's all good. It's all fun. It's all hardcore gaming at its best, destroying each other in strange and interesting ways. Double checking. So I just got to finish off the Volkites really, because obviously they weren't given any love and attention with the oil weathering. I don't do that with those weapons, but everything else is all looking splendid. Really worth it. Great group, made lots of new friends. Yeah, so more than friends, we're family. Right, okay, people. So yes, it's a short one tonight, but I think it's been quite a good little evening. I've done that. You've done whatever you're doing in your various places around the world, be it rhinos, be it destroyers, be it whatever. You know, it's been a great little chat today. Thank you, Mauler, for turning up. It's good to talk to you again, mate. Hopefully, you'll return again. And Gribbly Dave, wherever he may be, if he's lurking or something. But yes, so yeah, normal time this Saturday, 8 p.m. British summer time, and then obviously, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our friends over in America, and +1 if you're in Europe. Good stuff, Lee. Got stuff worked on. Thanks again. No worries, Judge. Thank you for dropping in, and well done being first again. Thanks for your time, guys. Been much enjoyable. As I said, this is a hobby hangout. This is what we do. We hang out and chill and have fun and chat. And Luke bares his fists and beats us all to a pulp, which is his dream. This is his fantasy. Anyway, right. So until I see you all again on social media at various points across the world, take care of yourself. Happy hobbying. Love you all. Keep safe. And I'll see you on Saturday, 8 p.m. See you then. Bye.